Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality and host of the Ken Coleman Show, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. The Ken Coleman Show is all about your career, all about getting in a job and in a career field that you love, doing work that matters, that you're good at, and where you can actually show up and be glad for the time you spend at work and the way to maximize it. So you got career questions, I need a job questions. Well, Ken is here to help with that, and he's going to comment on everything we do here today as well. So we're welcoming you in. The phone number is 888-825-5225. So, Ken, this from Forbes. Car shoppers on limited budgets can't get a break. The average transaction price for a new vehicle is expected to rise to a record $38,255 in May, according to J.D. Power, sending many consumers looking for bargains on used car lots. No such luck. The combination of high demand and high wholesale prices dealers pay to acquire inventory has led to record high prices for used cars. Toby Russell, co-CEO at online used vehicle marketplace Shift.com, told Forbes the surge in used vehicle demand is causing bizarre behavior in the form of used car prices appreciating. Given the strong demand for consumers, the tight supply situation, it seems likely that used vehicle prices, already at all-time highs, will continue to rise. There's a silver lining for those looking to trade in their current vehicles. Vehicles demand such as pickup trucks, crossovers, SUVs are bringing top dollar, and the amount paid on a site right now is increasing 15 to 20%, in some cases 30% over the last year for the same used car. First time in history used cars have gone up in value. Well, they haven't over a period of a year, but that same exact vehicle. All caused by the COVID economic disruption.
Yep.
People in factories not making cars.
That's right. Also, I read about this
people not in factories making cars, I guess I should say.
That's right. Well, I also saw that because travel was literally almost suspended, that rental car companies are a big source of used cars as well, because they'll order cars from manufacturers, they'll rent them to folks like us, and then after a certain point, they'll sell them back, and that becomes a part of the used car inventory as well. So you have two things, manufacturing as a whole, also orders from car rental companies. So it's really fascinating. But I will tell you this, I am in the market. I can't even believe I'm saying this, Dave. My oldest is going to be 16 in November, so I'm already beginning to look just to see, is there something right now that I could jump on and get a great deal, put it in the garage, and for him. And so I've been looking a lot just direct to consumer. Facebook Marketplace is a great option there. There's all kinds of Auto Trader. And so outside of the dealer, I still see, in fact, I spent a good time this weekend, a good amount of time looking. There still are great deals if you're buying directly from someone else. But to the dealers, there's no question the prices are up. I see that.
Yeah. And so the other thing that's happened was I bought a used car last week, and I bought it at market. It didn't pay. It was not up. Took a little work, though.
Yeah.
And I actually looked at the new version of that car, and there's such a shortage on it that dealers are charging $20,000 over sticker for that particular car. And now it's an expensive car,
right,
but they're adding a premium on it on a new car, because they gave me a quote on the new one, and I'm like, dude, I buy it invoice, and the guy's like, not today you don't,
right,
and not right now you don't. He goes, they're across town, this same brand is selling these for $20,000 over sticker. He said, we'll sell it to you at sticker, and I went, I think we're going to go used. So I bought a used car, and so but it's man, I mean, this disruption. And it's just like the new housing market is screwed up.
That's right.
And so it's screwing up the used housing market. And then people go cray-cray, and they get the chasing stuff and get the fever. And it's like, oh God, I'm not going to be able to get what I want. It's like a little kid on the cereal aisle having a hissy fit.
Yep.
And then they overpay for stuff. And so, used vehicles, there's a shortage, and definitely. and there's a shortage for the new, because there's a shortage on new, because the factories were not dialed up, and it's going to take a little while for it to catch up.
That's right.
Just like it's going to take a little while for lumber supply demand to catch up. Right now, lumber's selling for more than gold. It's unbelievable.
It's true. And drywall. I've talked to a builder friend of mine. Sheets of drywall exploding.
Plywood.
Everything.
Plywood, the glue going into plywood, there's a shortage on. They're saying it's going to go up 4x before it comes back down. But it'll come back down, and these used cars will as well.
Yeah, there'll be plenty out there.
But the good news is this. If you're out there and you like just decided I'm going to get out of debt, and you're like, I've got to get rid of this really stinking overpriced, I bought too much car.
Yeah.
You know, I got a $30,000 car, and I owe $28,000 or I owe $32,000 on it. This is a great time to sell it.
It really is. It really is.
It's a great time to move down in car. It's a great time to get rid of a car that you're trapped in. So that's the good news.
I'm curious to know what the trade-in values, how much it's gone up, because traditionally that's way lower than what you can get if you sell it yourself.
Yeah.
So
well, the other parts of this article, which I didn't read, but the Manheim is the largest wholesaler, the auction houses that wholesale to the dealers, and they're seeing across the board about a 10 to a 15% bump.
Wow.
And so that's, and then of course that's of a used car going across the dealer auction. Dealer puts that back on his lot, and they're not in the business to lose money, so they're going to be marking it up that much. So we're seeing this. I knew there were going to be shortages because of COVID. We talked about that at this time last year because these factories all just shut down, and it took them forever to come back. And you knew there were going to be shortages, but what I didn't, for some reason I was dumb. I should have been obvious. I did not see the price increases as a result, but because it creates a shortage and it drives prices up. Simple supply demand curve stuff, and you get into that. But you're right. The rental car companies, Hertz, it owns Dollar, that sponsors the Dollar Car Rental Studio.
That's right.
So we've had discussions with them. I didn't realize until we were sponsoring them, and we were actually talking to them at this time last year, because no one's renting cars. And so they're all screwed. They're all going into bankruptcy. They're all, right on the teetering on the edge. And what they did was they just sold off half of their inventory, liquidated these used cars like crazy. They dumped them on the market. Well, now the market's gone the other way, and now they can't get the new cars. And so it's gone back the other way. So a lot of rental-car companies have a shortage of inventory to rent to you.
Oh, we see that all the time.
It's not unusual.
Very normal. It really is interesting.
And Hertz is the third largest car dealer in America.
Massive. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, it's like you said, Dave. It's like we had all this extra supply, but we burned through it, and now the factories are trying to catch back up. So it's going to be this way for a while. I created a new thing as you were talking, the MSRP. Now it's IIWII. It is what it is. You like that? So don't buy a new car anyway. So we don't tell you to buy a new car unless you got it and then some. But now it's the time to stay away.
Yeah. Just here's the plan. Not right now.
Yeah.
I don't need it that bad. Don't need it that bad. This is the Ramsey Show. Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book, The Proximity Principle, is my co-host today as we talk about your life and your money. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Joel is in Dallas. Hi, Joel. How are you?
Dave, I'm doing great, sir. Good afternoon to you and Ken. I want to say thank you so much for what you guys do every day. It's important to a lot of folks out here that are trying to better their lives and figure stuff out. So thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. How can we help today?
So here's my question. We're on baby step 4, and I've got a 401k question. The company that I work for does a very generous match every year. It's a profit sharing. It's not actually a match. And it can range between 10 and 15% of my total salary. Not sure what it's going to be every year. It's not set in stone. Kind of fluctuates. Right now, we are putting 15% into the 401k, the traditional 401k every year.
Good.
And have been for the last 3 or 4 years. So we're looking good. But my question is this. Do I need to be, according to the baby steps, do I need to be putting that much in, given what my company is also contributing? And then the second part is, do I need to be looking at adding the 401k Roth option in as well, in addition to or separate?
Well, if you change, your 401k will either be traditional or it will be Roth, and it's better for it to be Roth. And so I would change it to Roth from this point forward. Now, the matching portion that they give you cannot be Roth. It will be traditional by law, okay?
Gotcha.
The matching portion does not affect our baby step 4. Baby step 4 is you put in 15% of your income. If you get gravy on the biscuit, extra gravy on the biscuit called a match, that's just that much more wealth you'll have. But I don't depend on them at all. The point of the baby steps is you are controlling your destiny. And so you put in 15% if they match. If you have a match, you certainly take that match. And so match is better than Roth is better than traditional. That's the order of attack, the rock, paper, scissors, so to speak. And so, yeah, switch it to a Roth, and you put in 15%, which it sounds like you are, and you just continue to do that. Ken, so in the old days, like when I first started this show 30 years ago, still at that time, a lot of companies had the traditional pension plans. Now, 78% of companies have done away with pension plans. They don't have them anymore. And so it's pretty much a Roth or a 401k or an IRA. You're going to do your own thing, and you're going to do it through your company. And that's the bad news. The good news is a lot of them match. Over 70% of the companies do match because they don't do the pensions anymore.
Yeah. Well, why did they pull that? Was it did it come down to taxes for companies, or is it too much to manage? Why the shift from? I didn't know that number. I wrote it down because that was really shocking to me that many companies aren't doing pension plans. Why would they do away with them?
Well, they're super expensive. Okay. They're super regulated to manage. They're a pain in the butt to operate.
Right.
And because, Keith, think about it. I mean, you have a team member that joins you at 40. At 60, they retire, and you now manage this pension for them for the next 25 years.
Yeah, it's too much time and money.
And so it just becomes very cumbersome. And with regulations on them, they don't perform that well. Mm-hmm. They're not allowed to invest the way that I would invest or the way I teach people to invest. So they don't make a good rate of return. And so but it's bad for the individual because now the only way you have money in your 401k is you have to put money in the 401k. It's good for the individual, though, because the 401k is yours.
Yep.
And the pension is not. If the company goes broke, it's an asset of theirs. You could lose the old story, the mine closed up, Papa lost his pension.
That's right.
And so because the pension was not his, it was an asset on the books of the mining company that went broke. And so they lost it. Now, that doesn't happen as much with the regulations and the insurance and stuff we've got now, but the union mismanaged the pension and frittered it away. These are real stories that have happened to real people. When it's a 401k, the company goes broke, it doesn't touch your 401k because it's not in their name, it's in your name. Yeah. Accessing it with a broke company, with the HR department closed down, may be a bit of a cumbersome thing, but the money is still there. It didn't leave. And so you are controlling your own destiny. Yep. You're responsible for it, and that's both a blessing and a curse.
That's right.
Because just like it is when everything that we're responsible for, we have to actually step up and man up, woman up, and get her done. Miranda is with us in Charleston, West Virginia. Hey, Miranda, how are you?
Great. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
So my husband and I were working on baby step 2. We're going gazelle intense, and we're looking at our numbers, trying to figure out how to get our payments to go down. We have a car. It's a Ford C-Max, a 2004, and Kelley Blue Book has offered us $10,000. We owe $21,000 on it, and that loan right now has a 5.9% interest rate.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So what is this car really worth? Is Kelley Blue Book shooting you that low, or are you financing negative equity from the last deal into this one?
No, we owe $21,000 on it, and they're offering us $10,000.
I know what they're all. I heard that part. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
So I'm guessing the car's worth $15,000 and they're trying to steal it from you?
Probably. It's in pretty good condition. It's 2004. It's a hybrid.
Yeah. Did you finance negative equity? Were you in the hole when you traded in?
Yes.
Okay, so some of this hole is from the other car.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
So you need to do some more research and find out what the car is really worth. Because if a wholesaler, Kelley Blue, I didn't even know Kelley Blue bought cars, but if they do, I'm sure they do. And if they're buying it at wholesale because they're going to resell it for a profit, which means that you put it on the market. We were just talking about that coming into the show. You're going to put the thing on the market for full value. So check KelleyBlueBook.com, not counting this, and just look up the value, do an appraisal on the car. You can go to Edmunds.com as well, Edmunds Car Guide, and pull up and say private sale. If I put the thing on Facebook Marketplace or Neighborhood Marketplace or whatever these things are that are out there, and Craigslist, if people still do that, and so on. I don't know. Is Craig dead? He could be dead, but
I don't know.
But anyway, that's so along those lines, you're going to sell the thing. I know Trader.com you can use, and you can sell it direct. Like Ken's out there looking for a car for his son. He talked about that a minute ago, and so you're going to probably find that car is worth 13, 15, something like that. It's probably not worth 10. 10 sounds insanely low.
Yeah, I'd have to know the mileage on that, but you can get a really good value on that very easily. Multiple sites, and you could really hone in on the condition of the car, and I think you get the most as you possibly can for that. Because right now, as we said in the opening segment, your car is competing against the dealers who are selling used cars at a premium. So if you sell it actually at market value, you're going to be very competitive, a lot more attractive than a dealer.
And there's a shortage. So, yeah, definitely make sure you have your values right. So, Miranda, a good rule of thumb is this. In a negotiation, which selling a car is a negotiation, buying a car is a negotiation, he with the most information wins. He with the most patience wins. And he or she with the most options wins. I don't need to sell. I got lots of options. I don't have to sell it. I'm not desperate. Okay? So you got walkaway power. You find out every detail about what every car like that at every site is selling for, and you become a dadgum expert on the used car market around that particular car. Information. He with the most information. And then you just slow your butt down. You don't get the fever. People get emotionally like they have people when they sell stuff, they get emotionally like it's already gone in their minds, and so now they have to give it away. No, just plan on keeping it a while, and be a little hard to get along with when you're selling it. Come on now, maximize this asset. You need the money. You're broke. This is the Ramsey Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm Dave Ramsey. Mikkel is with us in Seattle. Hi, Mikkel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I have a question that I feel like is probably splitting hairs, but I wanted to know what you would advise. We currently have a 20-year fixed-rate mortgage, and I'm wondering if we should finance down to a 15.
Not for that reason. Only if you get a better interest rate. Because if you take a 20 and you calculate what the 15 payment is and you just pay that much extra, it'll pay off magically in 15.
Sure.
So you don't have to refinance to do that. So what is the interest rate?
Currently, it's 3.75, and I talked to Churchill, and they said they could get it down to 2.75.
Okay, what's your loan balance?
2.35.
Okay, so 1% saving is $2,350 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it costs you $5,000 to refinance, you get your money back in 2 years. If it costs you $7,000 to refinance, you get your money back in 3 years. So you don't make any money until you get your money back.
Okay.
So are you going to be in the house a while?
Yeah, for a long time. We plan.
Okay. All right. I probably would refinance it, and while you're at it, put it on a 15. But you don't need to if let's say you had a 3% 20-year mortgage. I would tell you just sit on it and pay extra.
Okay.
You don't need to go to the refinance cost to pay it off early. You just pay extra and it'll pay off early. But you refinance if you can save not sending them as much money as you used to do, as you used to send them. And so, in other words, you're going to send them $2,350 less per year for the next many, many years until you pay the thing off. 1% savings per year. Yeah, so I'm refinancing that if you're staying. And while you're at it, do it to a 15. Charlie's in Los Angeles. Hi, Charlie. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thank you so much for taking my call. Really appreciate it.
What's up?
I am a small business owner out in California, and it's been, luckily, a pretty rapidly growing company over the past 6 years. And I'm dealing with an employee of mine who is my general manager, I think has a bit of a spending addiction, which is making me kind of wonder if I need to feel obligated to give him a raise or if it's best just to let him go when that time comes. If I can give you a bit of a background on this gentleman, he's in his mid-30s, 3 kids, works full-time for me, 80 hours a week. He's a great asset to the company, and he's been in this management position for just over a year.
80 hours a week?
The problem is, 40 hours a week. My apologies.
Oh.
I'm on the bias list. Yeah, sorry, 40 hours a week.
Okay.
Now, the issue is that he's left my company before when he was a warehouse packer. He came back, and we worked up to his management role. But since then, he has about $150,000, I estimate, conservatively, in cars and automotive toys. He kind of mentions and complains about money and stuff, but not really in I'm expecting a raise type thing. I try to give him raises organically without him asking to reward good work.
What's he make?
He makes $45K a year.
Okay.
And he just kind of casually in conversation asked me if he could start leaving earlier Monday through Friday to come in a bit on Saturdays so that he could work a second job. And just because he has left the company previously, I just kind of wonder, I'm not going to plan on letting him go, but if he does ultimately say that he wants to leave, should I try to keep him around or focus on my younger staff who are who have good potential and don't have as much.
How many team members do you have total?
Right now we have 15.
Okay, cool. Ken?
Yeah, the question I have for you, Charlie, is forget the finance issues. Is this guy a great leader for you, or at least a good leader with tremendous potential? Let's set aside just for a moment your concerns about his spending and him asking around about a raise. Is he a quality team member that you think, if he's healthy, you could develop him even further up?
So the thing about my small company is that it's all been a learning experience kind of for all of us. He didn't really have any managerial experience, but he's been doing a great job of learning. But what I really value about him more than anything else is that he cares about my company, treats it like it's his own, and I feel like does genuinely want to see the company do well.
Well, I got to tell you, that right there, to me, is one of the greatest characteristics of somebody, that they care deeply about your company. And so he's unhealthy financially. And I would sit down with him and have a man-to-man, but come at it not from a judgmental standpoint, to say, hey, here's what's going on. I don't have all the facts. Here's what I think I know. Help me fill in the blanks. And here's why I'm bringing this up. I care about you because you care about this company. You've done a great job, and you've learned, and you've grown, and you're mentioning some things here and there. Why do you need more money? And here's what a development plan might look like, and here's how you'll keep getting raises. And share a vision for him and see where he's at financially, and see if you can help him and pour into him and take care. Listen, I'd get him financial peace. I'd put him through it and coach him up if he's willing to do that, and show him how, if he gets his spending habits under control, how it will change his entire life. I'd be willing to have that conversation if I were you, because of what you just said about this guy. I think he's worth investing in. Now, I think you got to have a point where you get to where you say, all right, I've invested and I've coached, and now it's up to him. And if you feel like it's too big of a divide and he's not going to get there, and you feel like he can no longer be the employee that you need, then you move on. But I wouldn't try to anticipate him leaving. I think that's managing and leading out of fear versus being proactive.
So when we were doing entree leadership a couple weeks ago out in Dallas, Pat Lencioni said there is no such thing as any kind of leadership except servant leadership. And so if you're going to lead him, then you need to care enough to serve him. And how are you serving him? You got to sit down and go, dude, $45,000 income, $150,000 in toys. You're doing Fauci math here. This doesn't work, okay? You can't, this doesn't work. You're not in Congress. You have to stop this for your sake. You can't win doing this. And I love you. And so I'm just looking at you man to man, friend to friend, and going, I'm going to serve you well. And so, I've had, and our leadership team have had conversations with people inside of our organization over the years, almost on a weekly basis. Someone we sit down with and say, listen, I love you too much to just not tell you this. You got to know. This right here is killing you. This is hurting you. And so, because here's the thing, you're serving him. Then what you got to do is you got to go, okay, if he has a lack of judgment over there, how long before that lack of judgment, regardless of how much he cares, enters into our organization? If his critical thinking skills have got him this far in debt, he's going to start making stupid butt decisions at work too. And so we got to get him off the stupid butt train and get him on the train where he can learn. And that's just loving the guy well. That's serving him. When I serve my children and they're growing up, it means I teach them how to behave and function in society. It doesn't mean the inmates run the asylum. Because I love my kids enough to serve. I'm going to serve you. I'm going to make sure you know how to drive a dadgum car before I give you the keys. I'm going to make sure you know how to behave and say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, and thank you, and gratitude, and all that kind of a thing. And so you're serving someone by loving them well. Yeah. And by having hard, difficult conversations with them.
Yeah, you got to sit down in this situation. You can say, hey, you're looking for a second job. That means more work hours a week, more time away from your family. And this is all because you're not showing discipline over here. And when you show them, you're teaching, you're guiding, you're instructing, shoot them straight.
I'll pay for you to go. Yeah. I'll pay for your Ramsey Plus membership. And you go, that's what you tell him. And you go, I'll walk with you and I'll coach you. And because I think you've got huge rock star potential as a leader because of your passion for this place. Yeah. And I really want to pour into you and lift you up.
Yeah.
And you can set a model in place then on how you lead people for the rest of your life there. Really cool question, Charlie. You got a good heart, man. This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Matt is with us in Springfield, Missouri. Hey, Matt, welcome to the show. How can we help?
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Long story short here, my wife and I bought a house in 2012 at about $160,000, and we spent the last 8 years paying off our house, and we just did that last year in July. And now my wife's wanting to move again. And because her office got closed down during the COVID pandemic, and she ended up working remotely from home now permanently. And so I'm having trouble coming to terms with wanting to possibly take on another mortgage. And so I'm kind of needing some advice on how I should handle this.
Okay, so your current home is worth what?
We bought the home for $160 in 2012, and right now it's probably worth about $280.
Okay. And what's wrong with the house you have now?
Nothing wrong with it. She just, one, she doesn't like the layout, and two, there's no office space for her. We're in the home, like she works from the kitchen table, and we have, kids and everything, and it, gets noisy, and she can't, do client calls and stuff like that because it's too distracting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so why couldn't you buy a $280,000 home with a different layout and that had an office?
We've been looking, and we haven't found anything in our area of that price, and with the layout.
Because you haven't looked in that neighborhood. You've been looking in those expensive neighborhoods.
You could say that, yeah.
No, I'm sure of it. I mean,
yeah.
Thus the phone call. You're looking in the wrong neighborhood if you want to stay out of debt, right?
Well, I do want to stay out of debt. I don't.
Then why are you looking in a neighborhood that has debt?
That's a good question, but the area has just shot up so high that the
well, then yours should have been shot up. I mean, a $280,000 home in Springfield, Missouri is no slouch, dude. That's a decent house. And you could have a differently configured home that included a different layout and included that for that same money and just swap houses.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is we're using all this other BS as an excuse to move up in house. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you could say that.
Yeah. I mean, I want a different kitchen that's got like $70,000 more worth of crap in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using this, I'm working at the kitchen table whining as my excuse to go into debt again. So where in the process did you all lose, or did she lose, the vision of being debt-free on your home is worth it?
Well, I think it's just been over the course of, since she's had to work from home, the constant interruptions with kids being in the area, her trying to handle phone calls and get work done.
Mm-hmm.
And
go rent her an office.
Yeah, we've talked about that, but we do pay for a private school as well for our children, and we haven't been able to justify the cost of getting a rental office. Her business did have her set up to go to rental office spaces, and then they got rid of that option.
What kind of work is she doing?
She's a HR consultant.
So she's on the phone 80% of the day?
Yeah, she does compensation analysis, executive analysis.
Who's watching the kids when they're not in school? Like, how many kids are running around?
We have 2 kids, and it'll usually be me watching them. But I do shift work, so one week I'm working nights, the next week I'm working evenings. So I have a crazy work schedule. I work weekends.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
let me just tell you something.
By yourself.
Let me just tell you something. Dave's absolutely right. You two, this is a relationship thing. You guys got to sit down and reestablish the why. Why did we do all this for 8 years? What was the whole purpose of this? And, this is a pretty easy solve. Number one, you're living in a $160,000 area. So to Dave's point, the 280. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm saying that's what they were.
Yeah.
That's what they bought at.
Yeah.
And then, so there's a couple neighborhoods up. So I think it's unsafe. It's not like schools are awful. So I think this big, bad world you're in. The other thing is that, she can work at the coffee shop or something. It's just, and make phone calls and step out or do whatever. I just think this idea that we got to move somewhere for her to have a place to work besides the kitchen table, I just think that's a relationship thing where you guys have to reestablish the why behind this and then say, okay, we're willing to do this, but we're not willing to go beyond the 280. And if we can't get happy with something for 280 cash, then you have to come up with another solve until you save up enough to be able to do something that you want. I mean,
what's your household income?
175 a year.
Go rent an office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today.
Okay.
And then if you want to trade houses, trade houses. But listen, the tail's wagging the dog here. You're making a bad financial decision for a temporary situation.
Right, yeah.
Her working at the kitchen table is not the way it's going to be for the next decade.
Right.
She's not going to be at the kitchen table for a decade. And you don't go buy a house because of something that happened with COVID. These are,
Sure.
I do not know when she'll be back at work or when they'll be funding the office, but you make plenty of money. And so for, $400 or $500, you can go rent a single office in one of these office suites and just, she can plan herself down there, and then she's got a work environment that's reasonable. And then if you want to trade houses for a better layout, that's fine. Guys can do whatever you want. You got a lot of excuses for a guy that called in wanting help not to do this. And I'm just telling you, don't do it. There's no chance that I'm going into debt in this situation. None. This is all a bunch of, I want it and I'm a little bit uncomfortable. And I'm sorry you're uncomfortable. I'm sorry she's uncomfortable. Whoopee. Don't put yourself back into a mortgage over that. You finally got yourself free, man. Remember what it was like having that thing hanging around your neck? Don't go back into the noose. Don't stick your head back in there, man. Don't put your foot in a bear trap again. Them things hurt, man. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please. Please don't do it. And but you is there a valid part of this that she's trying to do business in an unprofessional situation? Yeah, go rent an office. You can do it tomorrow. That's what I would do in your situation. I'm not going into debt for an office in your home over COVID.
Now, you know what the new thing is now? Is literally these closets that are offices. It's like a new thing. You look it up online. I'm not kidding you, where people are turning closets into miniature offices.
Jeez.
We can at least do that.
No, I'm not going in the closet. Not a chance. She makes $175,000.
I agree. I'm trying to give them a non-rent option. I just, there's another place besides the kitchen table.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. You can go get an office.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's where there is no vision, the people perish. If you work really hard to get out of debt because you believe that your life is so much better being debt-free, you have so much higher probability of building wealth by being debt-free, you would never go back. But you quit believing that somewhere along the line. And we're willing to trade that for the inconvenience of the current situation. And I'm not willing to trade it.
No.
The difference is that when we went broke and lost everything, I said never again, and I meant it. Never again are these bozos going to have their thumb on my neck. Never again is American Express going to call my house unless it's a wrong number. Never again. There's not a chance. I am not going back. There's not anything you people can do to scare me enough. There's not anything you can do to make me mad enough. There's not anything you can do to make me greedy enough, passionate enough to go into debt. The borrower is slave to the lender, and I am free. And I am never going back. It's easy for me to say. And I can't imagine you and Stacy having that conversation and be any different.
No. Yeah, look, every time that you allow your emotions to drive you, then you lose sight of decisions that you have made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
your critical thinking skills just
critical
collapse.
thinking gone. And I feel this, I feel this, I feel this. And in this situation, you made a great recommendation. They can upgrade and still be mortgage free.
Yeah, it's easy. It's not like enough. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Andrew's in Washington, D.C. Hey, Andrew, how are you?
Good, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So we've been working the plan for 3 years. We paid off just under $100,000 in debt, and then the next 2 years spent saving up and obviously doing the emergency fund. And we did the 3B. We saved almost $200,000. We put down money on a house. Then we have our emergency fund in place.
Great.
So we're looking to kind of do the 4, 5, and 6.
Perfect.
Now, the 15% got that. That's great. We'll start investing in retirement. And now the question I have is the 529, should I do that or a separate brokerage account that's not a traditional 529, specifically with our income? And then we don't know if our kids are or are not going to go to college.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, what is your household income?
So right now it's a little over 200, but kind of projected to go up.
Okay. Well, to start with, no one knows that their kids are going to go to college, but we're for sure know that if they don't have the money, it's going to be harder. So a 529 grows tax-free. I love keeping the government's hands off the growth. It can be transferred to a sibling. It can be transferred to a parent, another family member. It can be transferred if they don't use it. If they got scholarships, you can pull from a 529 the equivalent amount of the scholarship with no taxes. Tax-free growth. And so, yeah, I'm doing a 529. I'm not going to overfund it if you have concerns. I'm not going to put $200,000 in there. But I'm definitely going to put 40 or 50, 60 grand in there, depending on the age of the kid, and maybe even more. But and let it grow. You know, a brokerage account infers that you're buying and selling stocks, and you don't need to be doing that, especially for your kids' college. So I don't want that much risk. I just use good growth stock mutual funds and a tax-free growth in a 529. And you choose the mutual funds and you choose to move them around. That's the type of 529 you want. We're very specific about that in Financial Peace University and in the Total Money Makeover. But yeah, just you don't have to overdo it. But don't underdo it either and overthink it about whether your kid's going to college or not. Interesting. So when we start the show 30 years ago, the assumption was everybody wanted their kid to go to college. And now they don't.
Yeah, and increasingly becoming the case. But also point out here that these 529 plans, that money can be used for non-traditional college education as well. So trade schools, that's anything from tech schools. I mean, you can use that. And so you're seeing more and more opportunities for people to get qualified to do the work they want to do. So it's not like you're being unwise by investing in that.
You can use it for their private school when they're 1K through 12.
You can. That's exactly right. So it's still the best option.
Yeah, and keeping the government's hands off the taxes and not screwing around with the money with single stock trades, acting like you and your buddy eating a biscuit at Cracker Barrel have a clue what's going on. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. And just get in there into some mutual funds. Those guys run the mutual fund. They're coming to work in a car longer than your house. They know what's going on. So it's not perfect, but that's where all of my kids' college money was, so I'm not being hypocritical. And so, yeah, I'm doing a 529. You can use private school while they're K through 12. You can do any kind of post-secondary education. There's all kinds of stuff you can use it for legally, and it keeps the government's hands off of it. And so, if you put $20,000 in there and it grows to 80 or 100, that's $80,000 with no taxes on it. I like that. I like that a lot better than screwing around with it in a brokerage account.
That's right. And a lot of options. Tons of options.
Gustavo is with us in Tucson. I mispronounced that. How do you pronounce your name?
Gustavo, sir.
I did say it.
You nailed it.
I did. I didn't mess it up. Hillbilly Spanish is just a hard thing, dude. I'm just saying. So what's up, man?
Well, I kind of had like a weird question. I'm on I'm finishing up baby step 3 next month, just to give you a heads up of where I'm at. And I want to get a toy. I had one when I was in debt, but I want to make sure. It's kind of weird because my vehicles aren't worth too much. And the toy that I'm looking into, which is the RZR Razor, they run about 15,000 used, and that's more than my vehicles combined. But we're kind of happy with our vehicles, so that's where my question is kind of, is it weird that my toy would be more expensive than my vehicles, even though we would be in a position to buy it cash?
Yes.
All right.
I mean, it's weird. You know it's weird. That's why you're asking.
Right.
You already knew it's weird, but it's cool. They're neat. They're neat vehicles, man. You're talking about is it the Can-Am make that? Who makes that?
The Razor does. Polaris.
No, Polaris makes it. Yeah, that's right.
Polaris.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got some friends down at Cabo that have them, and they all ride up the beach at Cabo. Those things are very cool. They look neat too, man, and they will haul butt. They're fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you're in Tucson, so you're doing like desert action with the thing, huh?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could make it all the way to Phoenix, I'm sure.
Yeah, I bet you could. Yeah, they're very cool. It's a cool vehicle. I kind of want one. I kind of want one myself, but anyway, your cars are your daily driver transportation. Your family depends on those. Your income is dependent upon those, and so the a snowmobile, a Sea-Doo, a boat, a Razor should not be worth more than your cars. It's just kind of a common sense thing. It's not really a financial thing. All it says is that you're probably not quite there yet. That would be my opinion. And of course, you made the mistake of asking, so I'll give you my opinion. But that's I mean, you've got a toy in your house.
I do.
But it was a gift to you, wasn't it?
It was. And as you know, I'm cash flowing the renovation of it.
Yeah, he has a classic car.
Yeah, got a 72 convertible Carmen Ghia. Found an old guy in the hood that loves working on them, and so he's going to help me put the carpet kit in, and we just do a little bit at a time because we have kids in school and other things, and so you just have to go at the speed of cash, like you said, when we built this place. And so I got the exterior done, still a little bit more to do, and it still looks pretty sweet. Looks sweet. But yeah, you have to kind of, what's the ratio on that? I mean, I understand what he's saying. He's like, well, I got baby step 3. Now he needs to get to baby step 4, actually put that in the budget. Then he needs to begin to save for something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know that I have a rule, and I'm just kind of sitting here thinking on the fly. But really, if your boat is $80,000 and your cars are $10,000, that just seems dumb.
Doesn't seem right.
And so if your Razor's $15,000 and your cars are $5,000, that seems backward.
Yeah.
But those razors are very cool. They are very cool.
I think he may have talked you into buying one.
I may need one.
Right.
I don't know why, but I'm probably just because it has a motor and goes
fast.
It goes buddin'. There you go, man. So probably got a loud muffler. I can make a redneck muffler on it.
Oh, sure. You can redneck anything up. You know that.
There you go. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. If you're tired of feeling stuck with your money, like you'll never get out of debt or save enough, it doesn't have to be that way. You can get a Ramsey Plus membership that includes the EverDollar budgeting app, the world's best budgeting app. It includes Financial Peace University, where you can go through the class, learn step by step how to get out of debt, like millions, literally, of people have done. When you budget, you get intentional with your money, you get a clear path, you start working it, you're going to make progress, and you're going to make it fast. You can start budgeting. You can start making these steps free, starting today with a free trial of Ramsey Plus. Text trial to 33789. Text trial to 33789. LD is with us in Indianapolis. Hi, LD. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Listened to you for a long time. My wife and I are getting ready to have our first baby.
Yay! When's he coming?
Anytime now.
All right. Good for you.
Yep, pretty excited. We got some pretty tall goals for the future, and so we're trying to grow our income as much as possible, and so trying to decide if now would be a good time for her to maybe advance her career and become a dental hygienist. She's an assistant right now. But it'd put about $10 to $12 an hour on her pay. Caveat to that would be one of our goals is for her to be able to stay at home and be a bigger part of our business within the next 10, 12 years or so. And so just trying to decide if it's justifiable, I guess.
Interesting. So what would she do in the business? If she stayed home with the baby and babies potentially and worked in the business, what would she be doing?
We farm full-time. I'm a farmer. And so, she's also a pretty good bookkeeper and things like that. And so
okay.
My mom takes care of a lot of that right now, but, in the future.
Okay. So she saves you money by doing the bookkeeping that you're paying someone else to do, or she's replacing mom?
She would probably be doing a lot of what my mom does.
Okay. So you have to weigh, all right, she wants to be home. Sounds like that's what both of you want.
Yeah.
Versus she now continues to work, and there's the cost of the schooling, the cost of getting qualified to become that dental hygienist, and you're looking at $10 to $12 an hour. So you start weighing opportunity cost with the emotional costs. And I think that if it's Stacy and I, we're going to sit down together and the old-fashioned grandpa and grandma conversation, the pros and cons of both of those. So which way does her heart lead the most? Which, if things were just as she wanted them, forget about the money equation and making more money and all the benefits that come with that, what does her heart want to do?
Oh, she definitely wants to be able to stay at home at some point.
All right. So why are you back and forth on this? Where were you at the start of this phone call?
Like I said, we've got some things we'd like to accomplish, and her income helps with getting there.
What does she make?
She makes about 30 right now.
Okay, so this would put her at about 40.
Hygienists in our area are in that 50s.
Yeah.
50s.
Okay.
Range.
Okay. And so, what does hygienist school cost?
Well, we live in the middle of nowhere, and so it's about 30,000, but it'd be a pretty good, lot of travel time involved with that too.
With a new baby.
2.5 years. Right.
Takes 2.5 years.
Yeah. So you have time and money here that we're piling up. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This is more than just working with a baby at home. This is 2.5 years of training in it. And by the way, during that time, she's not working, right?
It'd be pretty tough. It'd be pretty tough on her.
Yeah. So it's costing you $30,000 a year in income, and it's costing you $30,000 over 2.5 years, and she's traveling and gone. So that after 2.5 years, she works for 6 years, making $20,000 more. I mean, she's gonna make money on this transaction, but it doesn't sound like it's worth it.
Yeah. That's been our back and forth.
Yeah, it sounds like by the time, if she was going to do it for the rest of her life and make an extra $20,000 a year and loved it, and it was the long-term goal, then the equation starts to work mathematically.
Yeah.
But right now, you're not going to get enough of her increased income before she's willing or before she's able to come home. Yeah. I think you start figuring out what she could do from home to create an income while she's helping you with the farm stuff and there with the babies. I think maybe we look at shifting that. I bet you she could come up with a side gig, like a Christy Wright business boutique idea. If it's just selling stuff on eBay, I don't care what it is. Yeah,
and then it may be streamlining operations on the farm. Remember, we're saving money. That's more money in our pockets, certainly to a farmer. The thing to point out here is that her heart is not in it. If I heard on there that her heart, she wanted to be a dental hygienist, what she's always wanted to do, she loves it, but she also wants to be a mom for a season, then I think this is an investment and a sacrifice that you figure out how to do. But I'm going to tell you, with that kind of schedule, the schooling, you're losing your income as it is, that's going to create all types of sacrifices and a squeeze. And when you don't have the drive, the juice for something, I'm going to tell you, it makes it really, really difficult, and it can put you behind emotionally, not just financially.
Daniel's in Columbia, South Carolina. Hi, Daniel. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
All right. So I'm in baby step 6. I'm 27, and my wife is 25. Basically, my mom reached out to me asking for help. She had a lease, a fleece, and she wanted to pay it off. Basically, it ended up, the lease ends up this month, and she asked me to borrow from me $2K. And basically, she asked me not to tell my wife, and obviously, we have joint account. And also,
what's your question?
What's your advice in my situation?
I don't do anything that I can't tell my wife. Anything ever. If I'm in a meeting and they say all the discussion in this meeting has to stay in this room, you can't tell your wife, I get up and leave the meeting. There are no things on this planet that I can't tell Sharon. That is against the law at Ramsey World. It will get your throat cut by your wife while you're asleep, dude. You can't be hiding crap from your wife. Hello? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, sounds right.
Your mom is out of control. Where's your dad? Are they divorced?
Yeah. No, they are together. They have separate accounts. And actually, my dad lent her $10K to pay off.
He lent his own wife money?
Yes.
That's strange. Okay. So, Mom, I can't do anything that I love you, but I can't do anything that I can't tell my wife. And don't ever suggest that again, because it's not a profitable conversation for us to have. Okay, Mom, can't do that. And if you need $2,000, you need to talk to your husband, my dad. And you guys need to work on your finances and get them combined and get them straightened out. But I think your mom is trying to hide all of this from everybody and is still trying to find a way to snake her way through this. And it's time that the cards are played face up on the table.
Yeah.
Mom is getting ready to be exposed and needs to be.
Yeah.
Needs to be. So she needs to talk to your dad, and she and your dad have got a lot of work to do, but you don't need to get involved in this, son. You just lovingly say, no, I don't hide things from my wife, and I really think you need to talk to Dad about this. He's got the money, and you guys have the money, and y'all need to fix this.
Yeah. So sorry. Can't do it. Love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom. No chance. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. On the phones in Minneapolis is going to be Kristen, who says on my screen, Kristen, you're debt-free. Congratulations.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Hey, how much have you paid off?
$61,091.37.
Love it. How long did this take?
48 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
Okay, I went back and checked, and it was $32,000 to $51,000, and now back down to about $40,000.
Wow. So what do you do for a living?
I'm an accountant and recently a Ramsey Master Financial Coach.
Ah, okay. So starting to get some extra income that way.
Yep.
Very good. Good for you. So what kind of debt was the $61,000?
So a lot of it was medical, just kind of stuff that surgeries, children being born, and it just like once we would accumulate it, it would just hang around, and payments. There was some personal loans and a big family loan that we had to do repairs on our home.
Okay. Wow. Good for you. So how much was the big family loan?
That was like $22,000.
That was the big one of the whole bunch then?
That was the big guy hiding in the closet, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So what happened 4 years ago that put you on this journey?
So my marriage was coming to an end, and that's when we separated our money. And I had always wanted to be debt-free and become an EDM, so that was like pedal to the metal.
Okay. So fresh start after the divorce.
Yep.
And you already knew about our stuff, but you were just now able to do it because of the disagreement in the household before.
Yeah, it was like, putting on a lot of throttle and the car's in neutral. Now I actually got some traction.
Okay, good for you. All right, so you're going to be an everyday millionaire. That's your future. I love that.
Hope so, yep.
And what do you tell people when you're coaching them now that the key to getting out of debt is? Because you paid off $61,000 in 4 years, making 32.
Yeah, for me, there was three things, and I would say the reason, which is my boys, the plan, obviously, and then just the determination.
So we just saw a picture of the 4 boys, right?
Yep.
On YouTube there. Good-looking family.
Yeah, thanks.
That's fun. You got a lot of why there.
Yes.
Wow.
For sure.
So I want to ask you, when you decided, so you're coming out of this divorce, so that's a painful thing, and you decide, all right, I'm going to restart, reboot, do it the way that I always wanted to do it, and you've got those boys as your why every day, looking at them. What fired you up the most in this process? Was it the first one, the first debt that you paid off on the debt snowball? Was it just the boys? What was the real driver for you once you got into the process where you began to experience some momentum?
I think I had a lot of little loans, so getting started and getting those paid off, there was a lot of immediate, payoff for those. And I just knew what I wanted to give them. I didn't want a house full of stress, and I wanted to give them a good future, not like just giving them money, but showing them what to do. And they hold me accountable. I got a debit card mailed to me, and I open it up, and they're like, "Mom, is that a credit card?" They're always watching me.
That's great.
That's so fun. Very cool. So they know the rules then. They know what you have to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very, very fun. Cool. So how long had you been familiar with our stuff before your marriage ended?
Quite a while. I think my folks introduced me to your radio show and back in 2010. And then I coordinated an FPU starting in 2011. And then I did another one before my last son was born. So I've done a couple of those. And I was just kind of hooked because I'm a natural saver. And so once kind of the shackles were off and we found a better church that I wanted to be at, and I started tithing again. And I think, Dave, you had said a month ago when you talked about God throwing open the window of heaven. He sure did in my case, because it's once, we were pushing the bike down the hill, everything just kept piling on. I swear I have food show up in my freezer that wasn't there. I had a expedition that I think 2 of the pictures are like a time lapse that I got when my son was 7 months old, the oldest one, and he's 12 now, and I've still got it. It's just about 300,000 miles on it. But stuff just kept being a benefit. There was just kind of blessings from everywhere.
Wow. Can I ask you, what did you do to go from 32 to 51K? What happened?
My regular job was not 40 hours, so I had a base of that, and then I did a lot of side accounting work. And then just try to and I got a couple more clients and stuff like that. And then I worked for my mom, who's a CPA, and I did tax work at night. Just kind of everywhere I could pull from.
Yeah, that's great. So,
very good. You're a hustler.
Yeah.
You're getting her done, girl. Proud of you. Very, very well done. Good job. Who were your biggest cheerleaders other than your boys?
I would say my parents, because they've been down that road and they've been debt-free for a while. I have a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of naysayer friends. I got a lot of friends who are debt-free or are on their way. And then, these kids, I can't say enough about them because they never complained. They knew what the plan was. They volunteered. I don't need a treat. We can save it. So I'm just really proud of what they have learned and how they keep me accountable.
Very cool. Very cool. Powerful, Kristen. What are the boys' names?
So Aiden is 12. Gavin is 9. Mason is 7. And Morgan is 4. So we're going to try to coordinate it. They're coming in here. They're going to do the scream with me.
All right. They've earned it. No question about it. Very cool. Well, what a great family project. We're proud of you. Great job. We've got a copy of The Legacy Journey, which is the next chapter in your story. As you said, you're going to be an EDM, an everyday millionaire. You are on your way, kiddo. And of course, another copy of the Total Money Makeover, which you'll be able to give to someone and pay it forward and get somebody else's journey started with that best-selling book. So good stuff. All right, Kristen and the gang, $61,000 paid off in 48 months, making $32,000. Extra side hustles up to 51 part of that time. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
All right, ready, boy? Yep. 3, 2, 1. We're
I love that sound.
Yes.
That is the sound of a family tree being changed right there. You heard it.
Yes.
Those boys lived that with her.
Yeah. What a legacy. Single mom, leading, modeling the way. I just, I'm always blown away by the stories of everybody we get to hear their debt-free journey. But certainly, Anthony O'Neill and I got to host a show last week, or a single mom making $32,000. Same thing. And I have a special place in my heart for those ladies that step up and do that.
We all do.
It's hard enough to parent, certainly by yourself, and then go through that debt-free journey. I want to point out something, Dave, that I thought was so heartwarming. You asked her who were her biggest cheerleaders, and she said beyond her parents or friends, she said they weren't naysayers. They had been on the journey themselves. And I just want to point that out, that when you decide to live like no one else, you better hang out with people that are on board and will support you.
You become who you hang around with.
Birds of a feather flock together.
You read what they read.
That's true.
You talk like they talk. You you attend church like they attend church.
Mm-hmm.
You treat your spouse like they treat their spouse. I mean, this is you become who you hang around with. So choose carefully, my friends. Choose carefully. This is the Ramsey Show. Carol is with us in Sacramento. Hi, Carol. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can Ken and I help?
Okay, I have a question. I'm actually a Ramsey coach and also an everyday millionaire. We have 3 homes that are paid for, and we are also a co-owner with one of our children due to a divorce. Our question is this. If we sell one of the rental homes, we could net about $560,000, which is almost enough to pay off the kids' homes and surprise them. We don't quite have enough. We're about $60K short of paying off both of the homes. Should we do that, or should we keep the house, or should we sell it and put the money in mutual funds?
I'm confused. You said kids' homes. 2 homes?
Yes, 2 homes.
Okay.
And 2 adult children.
Okay.
And we're co-owners on one of the homes.
Okay. But you would pay it off and surrender that ownership?
Yes.
Okay. Because you're only a co-owner because you had to bail them out in the divorce.
Yes. And then our other kid has his own home.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay, so you sell the rental and it brings $560,000, but you need $620,000 to do this.
Exactly.
And you don't have the other cash.
We kind of do. I just don't know if it's smart to pull that out of it. We have other funds. It's not our retirement funds. I just don't know if it's smart to do right now. We're getting eaten alive in capital gains. We're paying about $200,000 in capital gains.
So what is your net worth?
Probably about $3 million.
Okay. I would do it, but I would only do it if you pull out enough out of your other investments in order to actually do it. If you don't actually pay off the mortgages, it kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah, kind of, because from what I understand, in California, you can only gift so much money per year, so we may not be able to do the whole thing all in one.
I don't know California law, but in the federal taxes, you have a gift tax limitation that this is well in excess of, but you can use some of your federal estate tax exemption called a unified estate tax credit. And you just have to do you have to do unified estate tax credit. and you're using some of your federal exemption up. So when you die, you would have used some of it up already. But you're nowhere near the limits anyway. It's like $20 million, so you're fine. That's what you would do to get rid of the federal gift tax. I do not know California tax law at all, so you'd want to consult a tax professional to figure that out. I suspect that unified estate tax credit would also apply in California. I bet you it's aligned with the federal guidelines. Is my guess. I'd be shocked if it's not. But California does some weird butt stuff to tax their people, so I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So your net worth now becomes 2.5, and they have paid for houses. The only other question I've got is, would they commit to never borrowing money again for anything?
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't make it a big deal, but I probably would have like a little one-page letter, and both of them and their spouses sign it.
Mm-hmm.
If we pay off your home, you never borrow money again, and so our family tree is completely changed.
Mm-hmm.
Never borrow money again for anything, for any reason. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And by the way, you shouldn't have to. If you don't have a house payment, you ought to be able to save up and buy anything you want to buy.
Yeah. That's we bring in a nice income off of the rent. We don't have to have it, so that's kind of my dilemma too. I'm just like, should we?
How old are you guys?
Not? Sorry?
How old are you guys?
We're in our 60s.
Yeah. I would do it.
Yes. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and pull the other $60K out of...
Yes. I would not do it unless you're going to pay them off. I mean, there's no point in paying it down. That doesn't do anything. You still have a stinking mortgage. So, but get rid of the debt and have them both sign a little one-page letter. Just type it up and just talk about legacy and how you want to change your family tree, and everybody participates. I think that's a fair trade. And then after that, you just don't bring it up. And you can't go managing their finances anymore. This is their life. You don't get to interfere. This is a gift. But the gift is predicated on the fact that we're changing our family tree. And that is a fair level of control in return for the gift.
Yeah, let me ask you on that. Are you saying in the letter that they're committing? They're just asking the kids to commit to that. They're not going to be checking up on them. That's what you're getting at, correct? There's no strings attached, but it kind of is?
Well, it's a promise.
Yeah, I like that.
It's just a promise. I promise in return for having my mortgage paid off to never borrow money again.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's a family oath, so to speak. But it's not a legal commitment. And no, you're not going to check up on them once a year and look at their balance sheets. And no, you're not doing any of that. It's just like, if they go and buy a house and put it on a mortgage in the future, you would just look at them and say, you broke your promise. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all it is. And then you just go, well, that's sad. You broke your promise. Because you shouldn't have had to. Yeah. Because the kids are going to be millionaires pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. No question about it.
They'll be there very, very quickly, depending if they're learning from their parents' model to not borrow and to be generous and to be investors. They'll get there very, very quickly. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Matthew's in Phoenix. Hi, Matthew. How are you?
Doing well, Dave. Yourself?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
I had a question about refinancing. We owe about $131 on the house with about 7 years left of payments after refinancing about 8 years ago. And my wife is going to be going on to full disability probably within the next 6 months to a year and unable to work, which will be cutting our income in half. To have money for medical expenses, would it be smart to refinance to lower the house payment to cover medical expenses in the future?
What do you make?
Currently 45 from my work, and then with the veteran disability, I collect another 24,000, so about 65 a year.
9, yeah, okay.
And the house payment's about $1,550.
Okay. What does she make?
Currently about 60 to 70. So after she's
what is the nature? What is the nature of her disability?
It's a terminal illness that's slowly debilitating her, where she has chronic fatigue and unable to stay awake or work.
Oh my! How old is she?
Mid-40s, and I'm in my mid-30s.
Wow. I'm sorry, man.
That's a battle we've been going through, but still staying strong and trying to follow your way as best as possible to prepare for the upcoming future of her health issues.
7 years is so fast. You're going to be done. I hate to have you walk away from that, but I would not trade quality of life if we've got a terminal diagnosis for anything. So, I probably would consider, just because I don't only want you to have the wiggle room to make sure you got medical bills and stuff covered. I think you can cover the house payment. I think you could gut it out and make it, but it might mean that you don't get to do some things with her that you need to do while she can.
Exactly. So it was the out of being debt free, because we only owe $131 on the house.
Yeah,
and
you're almost there in 7 years. I hate to have you lose that, but yeah, if you put that on a 15, it will relax that payment considerable, and you can circle back later and maybe still make it in 7 years or 8 years or something. You never know exactly where this journey is going to take you, but yeah, I mean, you need to concentrate on her.
Okay, just wanted to hear from you, because I know always snowball forward, and we've been doing really good the last 7 years after taking your course.
Yeah, I would love to see you finish it up, but not if it means that you lose some experiences with the time you have with her. That's not a good trade. I wouldn't. But either way's okay. But I just, wow, heartbreaking. I'm sorry. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600 plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. He is the host of the Ken Coleman Show, which is where you learn all about your career, all about jobs, all about how to get them, all about how to find the work you love. And so if you have questions about career and work, he's here to help, and we're here to help you in general. So jump in at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Kanal is with us. Kanal is in Columbus, Ohio. Hi, Kanal. What's up?
Hi, how you doing?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
I had a quick question about self-banking with whole-term life insurance and whether it's worth it if you accrue a cash balance and borrow against that and pay interest to yourself, or if you should stay away from that and keep using a bank.
Yeah, it's an absolute scam. It's a whole life policy. It's not a term. It's not a term policy. It's a whole life insurance policy. Basically, whole life insurance is where you pay 20 times more for the same amount of insurance. And so the extra $95 out of the $100 goes into a savings account, and that you earn very little on after you finally start to build it up. And then one of the ways they're pitching it now is the self-banking concept, where you use your own money, which, by the way, when you have a checking account, you are using your own money. I don't know why they think that's magical.
Okay, perfect. I guess I won't use it then.
No, I wouldn't use it. I would stay completely away from the company that is offering it and any other offerings that they have, because it is a really, really bad product. And it is a scummy way to sell whole life insurance, which is a scummy product to start with. But no one sells that stuff anymore except people, no one believes in it or talks about it positively except people that are in that business. And this whole thing of you can borrow your own money. Why would I want to borrow my own money?
It doesn't even make any sense, Dave. But this is the power of marketing. I mean, the message here is really look into stuff. I love that people can call and get advice on this, but really dig into stuff and does it make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, why doesn't it make sense? But they've put some wonderful marketing copy on this.
Yeah, so
borrow money from yourself.
Give you another one. It just keeps it. Isn't that great? And you pay them interest.
Right.
To borrow money borrow your money that you saved up in your savings account.
So you're moving money from your checking account to put it over there to them to not even get a good return on it to get it back. It's mind-numbing. It's like moving a pile of rocks from one side of the yard to the other.
Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so here's the other one. Whole life insurance, you can use it. Cash value insurance grows tax-free. Well, no, it doesn't. That's a lie. But here's how they propose that you do this. You overpay for your insurance by 20 times for all of your life, your whole life. That's where it comes from. They take your money your whole life. And finally, you have some money in there. Let's just say you've got $50,000 in there. Now, if the $50,000 is in excess of what you paid in and you take it out, that is taxable because there's a gain.
Right. Yes.
But not if you borrow it. And so you put money into this investment. Now you can borrow your money that you put in there back out and pay them interest, but it's tax-free.
Yeah.
Well, no kidding, doofus. When you go to the bank and borrow $50,000, they don't charge you taxes on it.
No.
It's a debt.
Yeah.
Of course it's not taxable. Debt is not taxable.
Yeah.
But it's not a tax-free growth on an investment like a Roth IRA or Roth 401k.
Right.
It's not even on the same planet.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of stuff that he's dealing with there. And it's this whole idea of, but boy, I mean, you talk about, I mean, they're almost as scummy as the timeshare people.
Yeah.
They're almost that scummy.
Yeah.
They're almost as scummy as the payday lenders.
Yeah.
They're right up there.
Well, that's straight up manipulation. What you just laid out for us, as clear as you could lay it out, that's manipulating people. Lying.
Yeah.
We could call it lying.
Dave Ramsey is giving bad advice because with whole life you could get tax-free growth. No, you can't.
Yeah. No.
You can borrow your own money and pay them interest.
Yeah. Right.
And borrowed money is always tax-free because it's borrowed.
Right.
It's not an actual investment. Ugh. So, yeah, that's how that works. But I'm the crook, and I'm the one that doesn't know what he's talking about, according to that industry. Now, if you want some people pissed off at you, that's a good group of people to have pissed off at you. The timeshare people are pissed off at me.
Yeah.
The car fleecing people are pissed off at me. The payday lenders hate my guts. And the whole life people, oh, my God, you would think I was.
Have you taken on the rent-to-own furniture people yet?
You know, they just don't do much anymore.
Right, okay. I'm just trying to think of anybody else while we're
We should just go ahead and get a full list of the scumburger
people you
products.
don't get Christmas cards from.
Yeah. Well, I mean, rent to own is actually, you know, they are taking on in a couple of our books and a couple of our courses over the years.
Yeah.
But I don't really hear from them much.
Yeah, it's not a popular model.
Yeah. The nothing down, same as cash. Furniture people, they're not happy with me. Best Buy screwing people with that stuff for decades.
Yeah.
This ain't the Best Buy people.
Yeah.
You know, it's not hard to figure out.
Yeah. The product protection plan people, they don't like you either.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the extras. Why is it that everybody makes you the bad guy because you're trying to save people money?
Well, I'm just trying to save people.
That's the point.
Yeah.
You're hurting the big corporate scams, and so that's why they come at you.
Like everybody didn't already know payday lenders were a screw job. like all of America knows timeshare. Everybody knows a timeshare is like the worst thing on the planet.
Man.
And like they're shocked that Dave Ramsey said it out loud. The timeshares are scummy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Of course we said it out loud. They were scummy long before back when I had hair, they were scummy.
Yeah. Well, when you offer all these free things just for a meeting, which by the way, I did it one time.
You didn't.
I did.
You went
years
in the
ago.
tiger cage?
Yeah, because the package was so nice, and Stacy
Pet the
didn't.
tiger for an hour,
Well, listen.
and you get a free pass to the zoo for a year.
So Stacy
Pet
knew
the
what was
tiger
going
for
on.
The tiger hasn't eaten in 4 days, but come in the cage and pet the tiger for an hour.
Oh, here's the deal. I didn't pay attention to my wife. This is a great story.
Oh,
for
yeah.
She's like, you're going to have to sit there and listen. I'm like, trust me, I won't. I'm the guy that goes, there's no chance. Well, I went in, just Mr. Stonewall, not going to do
Yeah,
it.
like you're the only one's ever done this.
I know. And then sat there and just got worn out.
Okay.
I tried to be rude. I tried to get kicked out. I'll give the guy credit. He made me sit there for 90 minutes. But I'll tell you what, I got all the stuff too. So but that was it. It was the last time I was ever
It
going to
is
do that.
not worth it.
It's our first year
Listen,
of marriage.
Buy your own
never worth
hotel
it.
room.
Yes.
Buy your own hotel room. It ain't worth it.
No.
Don't pet the tiger in the tiger cage.
Yeah, it's a good
He
point.
will eat your butt.
Yeah.
You'll come out of there with a $26,000 timeshare that's worth $1.
Yeah.
You can't sell it for $1 on eBay. You can't get out of it.
No.
You is stuck, baby. You've been petting a tiger. Don't go in the tiger cage. Don't go in there. He hadn't eaten in 3 days. There's nothing as greedy as a timeshare salesman. Oh, my God. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. If you're a business owner or leader, listen up. Financial wellness benefits are no longer quote-unquote optional for your employee benefits package. Now, financial wellness is a thing. The research team here at Ramsey Solutions recently put out a report that found that half of all employers say their employees are stressed about money, yet only 18% feel responsible for their employees' financial well-being. Well, that doesn't make sense. Your employees bring their money stress through the front door with them because they come to work with it every day. It's hurting your business with turnover, missed work, lost productivity, delayed retirements. You got to fix this, team. To get our team's report on what's happening in the workplace with financial wellness and learn what the employees are actually facing, you can add financial wellness to your benefits package and it'll help your business. Text wellness to 33789. Wellness to 33789. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from Jennifer in Texas. She writes in, I'm 48 and I've been in an industry for 20 years that I'm not passionate about. I've done well, but I'm burned out and feel trapped. I would love to go into nursing. Am I crazy to quit my job to go into a career where I'll make less than 1/3 of the income? If I stick it out for 2 to 3 years, we could pay off our house and I could just quit completely, but I'm not ready to retire. Is the financial and emotional ROI from nursing school worth going back to school, or should I stick it out? Well, let's first address the fact that you can work full-time while in nursing school. Is it very, very difficult? Yes, but you can do it. You can certainly work part-time in healthcare even, where you can get some experience and, more importantly, connections for nursing when you get out of school. So when you know the reality that you can still work, that you can cash flow your way through nursing school, here's what you can realize. You might be able to pay off the house in 2 to 3 years while you're cash flowing your way through nursing school. And if it's really about love, I would love to go into nursing. So if you really love the idea of caring for people in that nursing profession, you can make really good money, be very, very fulfilled for another 10 years, 10, 12 years based on your age. So is it worth it? You have to answer that. But I would say it's worth it if you can cash flow your way through and not go into debt because you've worked so hard to get to a point where you're going to pay off the house. So sticking it out for 2 to 3 years in a job you can't stand, I don't think you need to do that. I would make preparations to part-time nursing school, or if you can go full-time and make some other sacrifices, I think you go for it.
I completely agree. Completely agree. And if her last question, is the financial and emotional ROI from nursing home school worth going back to school? Yes.
Without question. You'll love your work and you'll make good money.
Yes.
And you can pay off the house.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think you have to stay in the job. I agree, for 2 to 3 years. Yeah. And I love the part-time idea. So absolutely. So, yeah, the thing is this, but make sure that you love nursing, not you love the idea of it.
Very good point.
And not you love the money you could make.
That's correct. So here's how you know that. For those of you who are looking at this question in a different field or maybe even nursing, how do you do that? So what she does is she gets around other nurses. This is phone calls, Zooms, coffees, lunches. And by the way, there's tons of different types of nursing. ER, labor delivery, checking people in at surgery. There's a lot of different nursing positions. And by talking to, as many nurses as you can in all those different positions, here's what happens. I get head knowledge. They tell me what it's like day in, day out, what it's like to move into that position, how you advance, you learn everything. And then what happens is your brain processes that information, Dave. Your heart eventually goes ding, 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 or and that's why it's so important to really know what it is. Then your heart will confirm, and now you're ready to go. Don't just assume you're going to love it.
Joe's in Louisville, Kentucky. Hi, Joe. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Well, my fiance and I, she's not a U.S. citizen, but she's lived here for about 8 years. We plan to go back to Europe or move back to Europe for a year to 2 years while we do the application process for her permanent residency. And I'm curious if you think I should sell my house or not.
Yeah, I would. It's a great time to sell a house.
Okay. And then if I do sell my house, what should I do with that extra money? I think I would have somewhere between $80,000 and $100,000.
You don't have any debt?
We have no debt, which our finances are completely separated now.
Sure.
But we have no debt, neither one of us, other than the mortgage. And her family has a place for us to stay for the time we're there, so we would be living rent-free. We both work remotely.
Okay. So your incomes won't change?
Correct.
That's cool. What do y'all make?
I make about $100,000. I'm self-employed, do engineering, and she is in marketing and makes around $50,000.
Excellent. Cool. When are you getting married?
Well, that's a big question. We haven't planned all that. It'll probably be sometime in 2022.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think I would. As far as where you park it, if you're going to park it for 1 year, probably just a money market account. You're not going to make any money, but you're not going to lose any money. If you're going to park it for 2 years or more, you may want to consider putting part of that into some mutual funds, something like an index fund, an S&P 500 fund or something like that. I do some of that. But now I understand that money goes up and down, and you could lose a few thousand or you could make a few thousand doing that.
Sure.
You know, you're not going to lose 80,000 doing that, but you might lose 8, you know, or something like that. So that you got to, if you want to play that a little bit, you could. That's a medium risk way to take a chance of, you know, instead of making $8, you might make $8,000, but you're not gonna get rich on any of this while it's just sitting there. You're just parking it until you're married and come back home and so forth. So obviously the citizenship thing changes when you're married, right?
Yes, and the process is delayed due to COVID. There's a big waiting list, so she hasn't seen her family in quite a while, so that's why we're choosing to do that in Europe. We could do that here, but we kind of have to stay put. Can't be in and out of the border while that process is taking place.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
As far as we know.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how it works, honestly. I'm completely ignorant of that. I just know that when you marry an American citizen, it changes the process substantially. And so, you know, I would guess that the sooner the marriage happened, the sooner the citizenship would happen, in other words. But I think I would want to know about that.
I heard that advice, and I'm just sitting there going, what would I do in that situation? And because of the medium risk factor, I'd probably park it in the money market. But because that me going, I know that it's going to sit there. It's not going to gain much at all, but I know it's there. We're going to keep making money, keep adding to that. So then when we come back,
that's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, but there is a benefit. I mean, the money you could make, I guess, to me, it felt like too risky for me.
Yeah, for the bulk of the time I've been on the air, I would have just said money market.
Right.
For that reason. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, and because, but, you know, in the last decade or so, I've parked a lot of money short term.
You're gaining,
and a time or two it's been down. I pulled out because I was going to go buy some real estate with it. It was down, and I lost a little bit. A time or two. Most of the time, though, it was up, and I made a lot.
Yeah.
During the time it sat there, and so what I started realizing was the risk wasn't that heavy.
It's not that big.
It's not huge.
Right.
I mean, $8,000 isn't going to change his life.
That's
they
true.
Make $150,000 between them.
Yeah.
You know,
true.
so if you want to play with it, that's fine. But if it's emotionally going to keep you up at night, then certainly do the money market.
Yeah.
This is the Ramsey Show. Of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. JC is with us. Hey, JC, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. Welcome. Good to have you. And where do you live?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Wow. Welcome to Nashville. And all the way down here to do a debt-free scream?
That is right.
Love it. How much have you paid off?
I have paid off $19,188.
Good. How long did this take?
It took 14 months.
Wow. And your range of income during that time?
I started out at about $24,000 and bumped it up to a little over $36,000.
Good for you. What do you do for a living?
Monday through Thursday, I am a dental assistant. And then I have been a dog groomer for the last 7 years. So I do that on the weekends.
That's your side hustle then? Okay.
Yep.
Very cool. What kind of debt was the $19,000?
It was a endless cycle of credit cards, and then my student loan and my car.
How much did you owe on the student loan and the car?
$3,500 on the student loan, and my car was $9,000.
Okay, all right.
And that I paid to my parents.
Ah.
That was a debt to my parents.
So it's good to get rid of that too.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
I hear you. So what happened 14 months ago? Lit you on fire, girl. You got after it.
Yeah. Well, I was working for a grooming salon, and they had unexpectedly just closed the shop. So they told us they were done and they were filing bankruptcy, and we were out of a job.
Whoa.
So I was like, man, I have a lot of debt. Like, start of the year, I had a lot of debt. I had lost my job. And so I just decided that it was time to figure something else out. I didn't really want to work for anyone else in that, like, grooming. So I started up my own thing.
Mm-hmm. But you were already working the dental?
Yeah.
At that time?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you had that job all along, but that side job ended.
Yeah.
And that woke you up.
Yeah, because I really wasn't making too much money at the dentist job. Like, I can make a bunch of money just grooming, so that was where I really made a lot of my money.
Okay. All right. Wow. Good for you. Well, congratulations. And how'd you get connected to us?
My parents have listened to you guys for a while, and they'd mentioned some things about you, and they've always said, I'm really not been one to be super responsible with money, more of a free spirit. So I wanted to kind of prove to them that I could really stick to something and get it done, and especially when it came to my finances. So they knew that I had been in credit card debt for a long time, and it would come the start of the year, my tax return would come, and it'd all go to my credit card debt. So I was done doing that.
So what did you do? You started listening to YouTube or watching YouTube?
The podcast on Spotify.
Podcast on Spotify.
Every day. To and from work, every day.
Okay.
Got real serious about it.
And that gave you everything you needed to do this?
It sure did. Okay. Yeah.
So you didn't have the books or anything from your parents or nothing?
No, but I did end up going to the bookstore, and I found one of your older books, The Total Money Makeover, and I started reading that. And then I decided to sign up for the FPU class.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, man, $100, should I spend that? Like, it could go to my debt. And I'm like, Ramsey said just do it. So I did the FPU class, and it was definitely worth it. It was a little difficult because it was online during COVID.
Yeah.
So I did the best I could with my 3-year-old running around. But it was still fine and worth it. I mean, I stuck to it.
Good for you. I'm proud of you. I bet your mom and dad are.
They sure are. They really are.
They were cheering you along.
Yeah.
Very
cool. It was a big deal. For Christmas, instead of getting a bunch of presents, I saved up $2,000 and gave it to them to put towards my car.
Wow.
And that meant a lot to them. They really were not expecting it at all. And so to see them, hear them talking about how proud of me they were, and, just the hug from my dad and the pat on my back, and, it got me fired up to finish paying off the rest. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's very cool.
You jumped from 24,000 to 36, and I'm guessing here is that some overtime, but also a lot of dog grooming.
Dog grooming.
A lot of weekends.
Yes.
Without the little man. I mean, had to miss him a lot.
The hardest part was being away from him that much. I mean, it was Monday through Thursday full time at the dentist job, and then Thursday night into Sunday I was grooming, like every single weekend.
What kept you going?
He did.
That's beautiful.
Right there. My 3-year-old.
That's beautiful.
Yep. And I have the greatest accountability partner, which is the doctor I work for, Tony, every day. And he knew how much this meant to me. Every day he'd come in and we would be talking about the weekend. How many dogs do you have to groom this weekend? How busy are you going to be? How much money are you going to make? And it just was like, you got to stick to it, A lot of my time went to that, and now I can say it's worth it.
Now you're free, yeah. How's it feel?
I can breathe. That's how it feels. I can breathe finally.
How old are you?
26.
26 years old. And you've never been debt-free as an adult, have you?
No, it was almost like having a credit card was a competition. How much did you get approved for? My credit limit's $4,000. What's yours? That was like my 21-year-old mindset.
Yeah.
So
got you in trouble. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You have to feel. One lady said accomplished. I mean, this was not just a $19,000 in debt paid off. You changed.
I did. I've changed so much through this whole experience. I mean, I really thank you so much for this. I don't know how to say it, but it's been so eye-opening. Like, I can raise him without having to worry, all my money's going to my debt and not to what I could be doing more for him, I've got his savings fund for his college started. I've got my retirement fund going, thanks to Tony.
Yeah.
You know, he's really helped me out too. It's awesome.
Coached you along. And yeah, that is just so cool. Well done. Well done, JC. And your young man's name and age, you want to get him in the shot for the debt-free scream?
His name is Cypress, and he is 3. You want to come up here?
Come up with Mom while we do your debt-free scream. She's worked her tail end off. She's a hero. She's changed her whole life, man.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you. So powerful. So well done. Good stuff. All right, it's JC and Cypress from Indianapolis. Man, $19,000 paid off in 14 months, making 24 to 36. We are looking at some people who've changed their lives. I'm so proud of you. Got a copy of the Legacy Journey for you. That's the next chapter for you to become wealthy now, unbelievably, and you are on your way. I'm so proud of you. And a copy of the Total Money Makeover so you can give it away to somebody.
Awesome.
So we'll give you one of each.
You ready?
All right, JC and Cypress, count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt-free!
He did it. I love it. Woo! Oh, man. That $19,000 when you're making 24 to 36.
It's getting with it.
That's more than some doc calling in here paying off $190,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
What she pulled off there was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And she is, I mean, the difference in weight on her after that, the actual math, the freedom in her math now is just, it's just amazing. She is in really, really good shape. And you can see what you guys can't see in the radio. You can hear hints of it in her voice, but what you can see is on her face.
Yeah.
Her countenance.
Yeah.
You can see the sense of, she's a young warrior.
Yeah. Another single mom behind the 8 ball. And yet she said, enough, and she did it. That's getting with it, folks. 19,000, 14 months with a heavy heart. Up to her eyeballs and dog fur. And she did it. She did it.
Well, that's exactly how that is. Yeah, there's a great place to go when you're broke. To work.
That's right.
I love it. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture today, 2 Corinthians 9:8, and God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. Winston Churchill said, the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, the optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. My FICO score is 0. I don't have a FICO score. It's undeterminable. That's what they call it. Sounds kind of evil, but yeah, I'm undeterminable. So how do I survive? How do I make it? I pay for things. And if I don't pay for them, I don't buy them. Now, I know that's weird. But it's a freeing concept, keeps you out of debt. You can teach your children to be countercultural in a culture that has lost its mind. And we've just dropped prices up to 80% on our best-selling kids products so you can have fun and have an educational summer. The Adventure Pack is a family favorite that includes the new Storytime Collection, Financial Peace Junior, the Smart Saver Bank, and more to make learning about money actually fun. The best part is you can add an extra kit for each sibling. Or if you've got a teen, the Teen Entrepreneur Toolbox by Anthony O'Neill is the perfect, safe, and flexible way for them to create their own summer job. Teach kids the right way to handle money while they're young. That way they won't live in your basement when they're 30. Save up to 80% off by shopping the Kids and Teens sale online at RamseySolutions.com/store, RamseySolutions.com/store. Tina is with us in Phoenix. Hi, Tina. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Ken. How are you guys doing?
Great. How can we help?
Yes. So I talked to Ken last week, and I wanted to thank you, Ken, for your advice.
Well, that's awesome.
So,
What'd you do?
Yeah. So I was not getting a recommendation from my boss, and your advice was to flood the potential employer's inbox with references that could speak of my character. And so with it being a long weekend, I did that today. And after a couple of emails came through, they said they would like to speak with me. And as long as everything goes through tomorrow, I'm going to meet with the teachers, and that goes smoothly, then I will have a job. And they said they were very understanding of that sometimes relationships just don't match, but they're willing to give me a chance.
Oh, I remember this. So, Tina, I want to tell Dave what happened. So, Tina had great references from previous teaching positions, but had a personality conflict with the principal at the school that she just left. She was worried that because they wanted to hire her, this new school wanted to hire her, but that one leader wouldn't give her a recommendation. And so I told her, well, do you have a lot of other relationships in the school system that can vouch for how great you are? And that this was kind of an outlying circumstance. So she went and did it, and looks like she's going to get that opportunity. So good for you, Tina. Way to not quit. You did that. You're the one that went out there and believed that you had a reputation worth sharing. And that's really awesome.
Very cool, Tina.
Yeah.
I thank you guys for the advice. I really appreciate it. So I just wanted to say thanks. It worked.
Yeah,
thank
proud of
you.
you.
Very
did
cool.
It. You did it. You went out and fought for it. Fight for things, folks.
Yeah, but you know what? You told her she could and exactly what to do, and she just executed.
She went and did it. Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes we tell people what to do, and they go home and don't do it, you know?
That's right.
Like, too often. And then they call us 2 years later and go, I should have done it. But then other times, it's that's why we come down here. Is people like her.
That's exactly right.
You say, go do this, and you'll start winning. And she does that, and then she starts winning.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
It's fun.
Got the job.
Yeah.
Got the job. The Ken Coleman job technique. There it is.
There we go.
I love it. That is absolutely fabulous. Amy is in Sacramento. Hi, Amy. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me on.
Sure. What's up?
All right. So I started a business last year while I was laid off. And then I got called back to work right as I was about to start looking for clients. I'm really eager to quit at least by April of 2022 and focus on my business full time. It's a bookkeeping business, if I didn't mention that. And we already have 6 months worth of an emergency fund saved up. We plan on having an additional $12,000 by next April. The thing is, my husband has a job where he gets laid off quite often. He's in a labor union. So we would only be able to last about 5.5 months on that extra $12K if my husband were to get laid off. Otherwise,
how often is he laid off for 5.5 months?
I mean, he was, like, in the last 2 years, he was laid off once for 6 months. Other than that, I would say usually like maybe 3-4 months on average.
Man, this job sucks.
Yeah, I'd be getting out of the union.
It does suck, but we're waiting until he gets his journeyman card because then you can quit and you can take that anywhere. You can work for the city or something like that. Yeah. We're in it for the long game, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay. So how long before he gets the journeyman card?
So I think it'll be probably another like 3 or 4 years.
Wow. You're tolerating a lot of crap for that.
On hours, you know, so every time he gets laid off, he doesn't get hours. But anyways, so if he gets laid off, we could last on that extra $12,000 for about 5.5 months. Otherwise, we'd have to dig into the 6-month emergency fund, or I'd have to get a job again. What do you think about that? Am I crazy for wanting to quit when I'm
you're assuming your business makes nothing.
I just don't want to estimate that.
Is your business not made any money?
Right now I have 2 monthly clients. I'm netting, aside from like cleanup work that's one-time projects, I'm only netting like $300 a month. Obviously, going.
Well, you don't have a business yet. You got a glorified hobby.
Right. Well, the reason why I want to quit and go full time is because I'm still like learning the business, and I want to focus my attention 100% on it.
Wrong way. You got to flip that. You got to keep doing these side jobs like this. Let's get that up to $900 a month, and then let's get it to $1,500 a month, and let's see how many hours we can actually give to it and really, really hustle and grow your credibility based on your experience. But you don't go all in
on
to
something
get
that's
experience.
$300 a month.
Yeah, you get experience, then you build it up.
Okay. So what if I were to take a part-time job so that I quit the full-time job?
No, your part-time job is learning this side hustle and growing this side hustle.
That's correct.
No, listen, you cannot justify giving up your whole career and giving up everything and walking into something that's $300 a month. You have got to prove this.
That's right now.
I know it's right now, so prove me wrong. Go make some dadgum money. You do whatever you want to do, kiddo, but I'm telling you, that's dumb. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Let's incrementally, let's go from 2 clients to 3 or 4 clients, or let's drop the 2 clients, replace them with more work from clients that'll give you more work. We want to get your billable. As a bookkeeper, this is all about your billable time.
What you have is a theory right now.
Yeah, it's not.
You need to move it from theory to business.
Yeah.
A business is something that makes money, ongoing, that is substantial, that you can live on. You need to grow a business. And as the business gets up close to what you're making now, then you quit your full-time. But you will have proven your ability to make money doing this. You have to do that. And you've got this dream in your head that if you just go full-time, it's all going to work out. Honey, it's not how it works. Because you haven't figured out how to run this dadgum business yet. You haven't figured out how to make money with it. And you got to go make some money. That's the whole goal here.
Everybody's willing to do what it takes. Very few are willing to wait as long as it takes. And that's where you are. The tension for you right now is you don't want to wait because you really love this bookkeeping and you got this day job you want to get rid of. Here's the problem. You're not ready. Your day job's going to fund the dream job. Go build the side business.
Yep. Build it. Get the boat closer to the dock. Don't be jumping in the water thinking you're hitting the boat. The boat's way out there still.
Yeah.
You need to get it up closer so you can land in the boat when you jump. Please do that. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer for The Ramsey Show. This episode is over, but if you heard about an event, product, or service and didn't have a chance to write it down, don't worry. We list everything you've heard about during this episode in the podcast show notes section or head to theramseyshow.com. Thanks for listening.